Hello everyone, this is Keita, your best English teacher ever. Before sharing today's topic, I want to introduce 4 new words. Dependence, 依存 Addiction, 依存症 Graduation thesis, 卒業論文 Symptoms, 症状 Okay, then let's get started. Today, I want to talk about symptoms that happens as dependence progresses. There are 4 levels of addiction, so I'd like to introduce them to you guys. Have you ever found yourself spending over 8 hours a day, like watching YouTube or Netflix? I've been there too. You know, when you end up wasting a whole day on your phone instead of doing what you should do. Well, it turns out the addiction, just like cancer, has 4 levels. As you climb up the levels, the symptoms get more serious. Today, I'll explain each level in detail. Understanding these 4 levels of addiction can be an important step towards overcoming dependency, if you ever find yourself in that situation. But before I explain those levels, let me share a recent experience about a friend's girlfriend who became dependent on her boyfriend. So, this is a story about my friend and his girlfriend. This couple started off meeting about once a week, But when winter break started, the girlfriend wasn't satisfied with that anymore. So they started meeting twice, 3 times a week. And it escalated to 6 or 7 times a week. Almost every day, huh? Even after winter break, when school started, they were like super lovely couples, meeting every day. But here is a problem. My friend and I were working on our graduation thesis together, and the deadline was approaching. Naturally, their meetups became less frequent because he was busy. And the girlfriend couldn't see her boyfriend as much as before. Suddenly, she started sending messages like, "Do you still like me?" Or even saying all of a sudden like, "Let's break up!" Like this, she started needing attention from her boyfriend. And here's another problem. She stopped doing her English studies, which she was really doing hard before. The addiction had a bad influence on not only their love relationship, but also her focus in other areas. Finally, a surprising accident happened, the day before the thesis deadline. My friend and I were in the school classroom working on our thesis. Suddenly, she dived into the classroom and screamed, "I'll wait until my boyfriend finishes the thesis." At the time, his girlfriend and I were basically the first to meet, so I said hi to her and kept doing our work. But as time passed, she became increasingly angry because she wanted to go home with her boyfriend soon. And finally, she got angry and screamed at me like, "That's enough! What are you, crazy? When are you gonna stop this nonsense, Z's?" Okay, I'm 23 this year, and I got seriously angry at strange young girl, huh? I mean, seriously, why did she get so mad at me? I was thinking back on her actions, and I realized she was heavily dependent on her boyfriend. So I did some research on dependence and I found out there are 4 levels of addiction. Now, based on my experience, let me introduce you to the 4 levels of addiction. So, for this topic, I checked out a book called Smartphone Brain by Andrew Hansen. In thinking about the topic, symptoms as dependence progresses, there was a helpful explanation that breaks it down into 4 stages or levels. Let's take a look at them. Level 1 of addiction is sensitization. Sensitization is when initially a small amount of frequency gives you a strong effect, but as time goes on, the same amount of frequency doesn't have the same impact. For instance, in our previous story, the couple's meeting frequency started at once or twice a week, which was enjoyable, but gradually it wasn't enough, and they increased to 4 or 5 times a week, right? Level 2 of addiction is desensitization. Desensitization happens when the reward decreases, and your body and mind strongly want it. Going back to our story, because of the boyfriend's graduation thesis, the girlfriend suddenly had less time with him, leading to behaviors like questioning, "Do you still like me?" and trying to grab more attention from him. Level 3 of addiction is prefrontal cortex dysfunction. The prefrontal cortex, located at the front of the brain, controls emotions and rational decision making. If it doesn't work, decision making and behavior control became challenging even in other areas related to the dependence. In our story, the girlfriend who used to study English hard found it difficult to focus on it. Finally, level 4 of addiction is stress system malfunction. At this time, negative effects on the body and mind show up. People became aggressive or angry toward others. In our story, the girlfriend finally got really angry at a completely stranger person, me, for an unreasonable reason. Probably, under normal situations, she wouldn't have become angry that way. As a summary, it seems the girlfriend reached level 4 of addiction. That was an explanation of 4 levels of addiction. So, we've discussed the symptoms as dependence progresses and the 4 levels today. Just like in this story, you might find yourself dependent on something right now. The most important thing is understanding which level of addiction you might be in if you ever find yourself dependent. By doing this, you'll be able to act in a way that won't hurt others. This channel delivers life hack in simple English every week. To make sure you don't miss a broadcast, please show your support by liking and following. See you next time.